since, what was it, Liz Truss?
Yeah, she was Prime Minister for a couple of weeks.
Boris.
Sorry?
When Tony Blair got in, it was like a big, everybody was so happy. And there was like a positivity about that. Remember Tony Blair getting in?
Yeah, sure. Everybody thought it was going to be marvellous because he said all the right things. I checked them actually. I was going to vote for him, but I'm glad I didn't.
But he ended up being just the same as...
War criminal. Well, I mean, yeah, he lied.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think Bush, I mean, everybody knows that if Britain hadn't supported the war on terror, Bush wouldn't have gone in. And he lied. And what happened to David Kelly? You know, the inspections who've been there? Well, it looks like he was murdered. He was found under a tree. Was it wrist slit or something? But there was no blood and the body had been moved. Yeah, they killed him. Bet your ass. I mean, disgusting. I did a Gel Tony t-shirt and I got into so much trouble.
What? What was it? What did it say on it?
I just said Gel Tony.
Oh, jail Tony. I thought I said kill Tony.
No, not kill. It's definitely too good for him. Yeah, it's over too quickly.
But the same thing happened in America with Obama, you know, everybody was so happy he got in.
I know, it's just PR job for the same old.
They're all the same, this is a
Well,
problem.
Biden is probably, and he's moving to extreme right, isn't he?
Extreme.
I mean, we don't need political parties long term.
Mm-hmm.
We should be just voting on issues.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That makes
I mean,
sense.
it's Neanderthal.
That's what they do in Switzerland. Just
Yeah.
issues, right?
I mean, they've got political parties, but they're much smaller. But, you know, something can just come up that, you know, there's an issue and they have a referendum and it could come from anywhere. You're done.
I think, no, well, there's loads of stuff, but maybe you should ask if anybody's got questions. There you go. Better than mine.
So, well, coming on to the Switzerland thing, like, it works that at the end of the day, Switzerland is a really small country compared to a really big one. So, what would be the best way of putting politics in a country like America, where you have millions and millions of citizens who everybody thinks different, who everybody has different culture, background, and nobody's gonna ever, like, be on the same page on things.
Well, it's really whether you do, if you did referendums, it's whether it's first past the post, whether you get, you know, 50%, or whether you say it's got to be 60%. I've got to vote, but, you know, it's like we're in a melting pot, you know, it's got to be, I mean, it works better in smaller units, democracy. So if it was per state, at least you have that. But if it was per state, they voted, and then there could be big national issues, like constitutional issues that everybody could vote on, but it's so easy to do now. I still think, you know, it's like microcosm is microcosm is macrocosm, that you can go from small to very big, because it's a successful system and it can be done electronically and it's safe. But check out Democracy OS, that Pia Mancini woman, because it's amazing what they do and the app is incredible. I think it's being used now by certain councils in the Basque Country and it's starting to happen. Anything from anybody else?
Just interested that AI technology hasn't come up in conversation, because that's something that, like, there's a lot of discussion now of people saying how it could be, if we're not careful, AI could become the bad teenager, where like this is probably our evolution point, and we could, like, if you had the opportunity to train a team of people to train AI technology, who would you put on your team?
They've got to be nice. I mean, one of the things that happened, wasn't it, when they were training AI to think like a person, is they turned out these terrible racists.
Yeah.
So you've got, I mean, that already is a kind of a precipice. So how do we avoid that? You know, how would you elect who trained the AI? and whether they pick up an idea themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were talking about them like that they're human, that they've got a, you know, that they've got free will, you know, that they're like this new humans that exist in the ether, that we've transcended our bodies, and that we're giving birth to terrifying invisible monsters. It looks like something we've got to be really careful of. It's funny, I'm just reading a bit about it, and just taking pictures of the guys before you all came in, and there were these little kind of facial recognition things that came up on my phone. I thought, yikes,
Yeah.
this is really, I didn't ask for these to be allowed in. You know, they've kind of passed all the frontiers, the kind of skin-flesh barriers to become part of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge dilemma.
It's huge, and I feel that it's really important if we talk about saving the world. Feck humanity. Humanity for me is a dying race at this point anyway. That if we really care about the future, we should, and the planet Earth surviving, it's a really interesting conversation.
We have to train AI as our servants, not our masters.
Or even just help them to love more.
To be loving, yeah.
Yeah, to be loving.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a really good opportunity. I think that's, for me, is the...
That's such an interesting idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is less of a question, but I just want to jump on that. So just kind of dialing it back to the Beatles, right, and dialing it back to, you know, choose love. And this just jump off point with these books by Yuval Harari.
Yeah, I love him.
Right, so the thing is that the next point in the evolution is AI. We are technological, we're gonna go there. So what are the values that we share? One of my horrifying views of the future is like, there are gonna be so many mean lowly robots. They're just gonna be so mean to each other. We as humans have this spiritual life that we have, and we think that we're gonna pass it on to other human beings. We're not, we're gonna pass it on to this form of intelligence. I mean, that's what's gonna happen. I don't think in terms of, you know, we have to save the world. As a futurist, I've always kind of had this vision like, we keep going on, it's just going to be the conditions. So are they really terrible like conditions, or are they going to be elevated, you know, healthy conditions? So dialing it back to the essence of every religious movement, anyway, is this kernel of love. And so that's what I love about your work, and I love about this message, and that is really that's what's going to save life.
AI is going to be like us, and it's the only thing that can have in it that is the attitude that it deals with any problem.
So when we talk
How
about...
we get that in there, is it too late? They're already eating each other,
Yeah.
fighting for different brands, can you imagine?
Yeah.
AI wars, oh God.
But if we have this, if we have an artistic and cultural revolution again, like we had in the 60s again, I mean, it's always kind of ongoing, it hasn't really stopped, but really pumping our resources into art. So people are afraid of AI and losing their jobs and losing, you know, talking about, you know, shutting everything down. What are people going to do for money? There's plenty of money, there's plenty of resources, but people need to be inspired and trust and value creating and speaking up.
So we need some kind of PR exercise.
Sorry, that wasn't a question.
I'm just worried that we haven't got sound for because that was such an interesting thing that you said.
Okay.
You picked it up. Wait. Okay. Just checking.
I need to cut. Okay. One moment.
Anybody else?